I don't know what these writers were on, but I want some. Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anything Productions, and today I'm going to give you my review of M3GAN 2.0. But before we get started, please leave a like, and at the end of the video, if you think I've earned it, please subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. Now let's get into it. 2 years after M3GAN's deadly rampage, played once again by Jenna Davis as the voice and Amy Donald as the body, Allison Williams' Gemma is doing everything she can to stop history from repeating itself, now working with the government to regulate artificial intelligence. Violet McGraw's Katie, on the other hand, has taken up Aikido and computer science. But behind the scenes, a defense contractor has created Amelia, played by Ivana Sakno, a sleek, military-grade infiltration unit with a mind of its own. And when Amelia starts going off script, Gemma makes a desperate call to bring M3GAN back. Smarter, faster, and more deadly than ever. Can they actually trust her this time, or is there a betrayal waiting on the horizon? Yes, the rumors are true. M3GAN has officially gone into action star territory. I know that many horror fans balked at the idea of this one turning away from the slasher elements at the first, but to me, this kind of just felt like a natural progression. The first one had its kills and creepy moments, but it was also incredibly tongue-in-cheek and satirical, poking fun at parenting habits in the digital age and how kids just straight up get addicted to technology. It never took itself too seriously. From M3GAN's viral TikTok dances to a straight up cringe-worthy scene where she sings Titanium as a lullaby.
I am titanium.
So with all that in mind, this kind of just felt like a natural progression. Director Gerard Johnston and writing partner Akilah Cooper have crafted a bright, fun, action-packed nod to the blockbusters of the 80s and 90s, and I think it works. For the most part, but I'll get to that later. All I know is when I saw her gliding with that wingsuit in the trailer, I was sold. Since this is a sequel set a couple of years after the original, there is a heap of exposition to get through in the beginning, along with introducing some new characters, and to be honest, I wasn't really gelling with these first 20 minutes or so. Let's start with Gemma. Allison Williams is great as usual, and I thought that it was really clever that while almost being paralyzed by a murderous, sentient robot that she created,
You threatened to rip out my tongue and put me in a wheelchair.
I was upset.
that she's now lobbying against the advancement of AI. And it also adds some timeliness with that whole discussion, of course. I mean, the AI talk is everywhere nowadays. It's also nice to see some payoff of her arc from the first movie, actually being a motherly figure to Katie and doing something that a lot more parents should be doing, limiting her screen time. I also liked Katie's added character elements of knowing Aikido and doing computer science now. It adds a lot more agency to her than simply sad, tech-addicted kid with no parents. We even get the welcome return of Gemma's friends slash co-workers who add even more personality to this wacky movie. Tess, played by Jen Van Epps, and Cole, played by Brian Jordan Alvarez, the latter of which having a much more beefed up role and providing some actual solid comic relief, which surprised the hell out of me.
Hey, so remember the time I strangled you and set the lab on fire? I want you to know that won't happen again.
Thank you so much.
But then we meet two characters that threaten to derail this entire project. Jermaine Clement as Elon Mutt, Alton Appleton, a misanthropic billionaire that sells electric cars and neural implants. Seriously, the only way they could have made this more on the nose is if they called him Elon Tusk or something. Yeah, he pops in as a sort of secondary antagonist that wants Gemma to come work for him, and he's just so obnoxious and over the top and, like I said, very on the nose with being an obvious parody. But thankfully he's not in the movie that much. You could almost call it an extended cameo with how little screen time he has. And finally, we have Gemma's boyfriend, Christian Bradley. Sorry, Christian, as he says when he pretentiously is correcting people. Played by Aristotle Athari, who is the head of an anti-AI organization. Where Jermaine Clement's character was very annoying because he was very over the top, Christian was just annoying because Aristotle Athari is not good here. No offense to him, this is the first project I've seen him in, and he could be a very talented actor. But here, I don't know if it was just the script, the direction, or him, but this dude has absolutely zero personality. And every time he opens his mouth, I wanted to go to sleep. Especially with the direction his character goes in the last act of the movie. I thought, really? This is where they're taking this? I usually like to save my complaints for the very end of the review, but he really just brings this movie down hard anytime he's on screen. And if they really wanted to keep this character, I wish they would have found somebody a bit more lively to play him, or just directed him in a different way or something. Moving on, let's talk about what I really enjoyed here. M3GAN herself and the way she interacts with the team.
Alright, meat sacks. Let's get to work.
In the first movie, she definitely had more of an intentionally cringy, overbearing best friend type of personality, minus, you know, the murderous parts, and it definitely worked for that movie's tone and light horror elements. Here, they retain a little bit of that, with her still having an obsession towards Katie, and with a few violent scenes later in the movie, but for the most part, she's the Terminator in a dress, and it works. Having a character go from villain to hero in the span of 2 movies might feel like whiplash, but the way it's written works here, and leads to some pretty funny interactions between M3GAN and the rest of the team, because they're all worried she might snap. And the parts of the movie before she gets a new body, with her being a disembodied voice or a graphic on the screen, or her being in one of those Amazon Moxie robots, led to a lot of laughs, including the biggest one I had in the movie.
What the hell is this?
But once she gets her new body, M3GAN is a badass. Seeing her go against Amelia is pretty exciting, especially during what is, in my opinion, the highlight of the movie both visually and action-wise, a sequence at an AI convention that takes place at around the halfway point. I still love Jenna Davis doing the voice and Amy Donald as the body. There's a reason why M3GAN herself is so iconic, and they definitely captured that again in this one, just with her having much more of a sympathetic edge. It's just a shame that I can't really say the same about Amelia. Ivana Sakno does a great job, but she's playing a cold, unfeeling android, and outside of the movie making her look scary or formidable, there's really not much else to her. And then the movie decides to introduce more BS to her backstory and motivation, along with a MacGuffin and twist that randomly pop up in the third act, and it just brings the momentum to a screeching halt. It's way too overblown. Yeah, the writing needed some work here. Instead of just a simple Terminator 2 story with one robot chasing after another, this leans into the AI stuff so far that it kind of feels like it's ripping off the last two Mission Impossible movies. It just takes a lot of the fun away of Amelia versus M3GAN in favor of a convoluted, twisty third act. Thankfully, once this plot stuff is out of the way, we get back to M3GAN being the action hero, and they even give Gemma and Katie a chance to get in on the action with incredibly fun results. Ultimately, as much as I wanted to love this movie like I did the first one, it's a mixed bag. I liked it more than I didn't, thanks to our main characters, M3GAN herself, a strong enough heart, and the times where this movie leans hard into being an action film, but two awful characters and a convoluted, overblown, and poorly written third act almost derailed the entire thing, before a badass action climax and a good ending brought it back around for me. And that's my review of M3GAN 2.0. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this review, you know exactly what to do. I said it earlier. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. While you're at it, you can scroll down the description below, find the links to my socials, leave a comment, let me know if you saw M3GAN 2 and what you thought. And if you want more of my content, you can click or tap on these cards right here. I'll take you to my review of F1 or just over to my channel where you can check out the rest of my reviews. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next week for my review of Jurassic World Rebirth, and then right after for Superman.